For the idea of a nature journal, I thought about many different projects. I remembered my life journey from beautiful mountains back home in Iran to beautiful lakes here in Canada. I believe that mountains are the keepers of all the wisdom on earth, and waters are the keepers of all the secrets. Back home in Iran, when I was a child, after a beautiful rainy day, I could see these mountains through a small window from the third floor of our house. The mountains were calling me. I wanted to climb the highest peak and see what was behind it. There was a tall mountain, which I called the Sacred Mountain. My sister told me that if we write a letter and hide it under the rocks, the sacred spirit of the mountains would read it and make our wishes come true. Once, when I was on a peak of that mountain all alone, watching the sunset, a wolf appeared. I had heard from other mountaineers talking about a harmless wolf who lived on the mountain and enjoyed the company of humans. He was looking for a companion. Maybe he was Maingan and he wanted to teach me the story of original man and the wolf. According to the traditional Ojibwe stories, original man, the last living being placed on earth by the Creator, was directed to travel across the land and name all plants, animals, and natural features. In a time, original man became lonesome and requested a companion. The Creator said Maingan, and together they walked the earth until they had discovered everything and they finished their nature journal. Or I wanted to talk about my experience in the menacing peninsula and its healing power. If you don't find me in my apartment, there is only one other place that you can find me, at Menacing Island, or as they call it today, Toronto Island. It was the earliest spring of 2014 when I first visited Menacing Island. I took the ferry and then I walked across it. It was early in the morning, and all these little insects, ladybugs, ants, spiders were all busy with their daily tasks. At that moment, I wondered why we humans sleep a lot and lose this beautiful daylight. There are so many things that we can learn from, even species as small as a ladybug. Walking beside the water and listening to the lake, I felt as I was with the sky woman dancing in a circle of gratitude on the back of the turtle. In indigenous thinking, all creation around is alive and offering us knowledge. Places have a spirit and they are providing us with everything we need to live. All we need to do is to learn, wonder, question, learn the history, observe seasonal changes, and listen carefully. Now I want to talk about my little garden. Sometimes we are concerned with faraway places that we forget about connections to our immediate environment. It is difficult for us to care deeply about anything that we haven't experienced or don't know much about. To me, gardens are sacred places. I have been vegan for the last 10 years of my life because every non-human animal is an individual to me who deserves respect and kindness. We can learn from plants. As Robin Wall Kimmerer says, plants are our older brother and sisters. They have been here long before us. I had a different childhood. I remember my friends were always excited after school to go play video games. For me, it was the garden that had all the games and secrets to discover. I had this habit of directly leaving all my backpacks and books in the hall and run to the garden. I divided garden into different zones and chose a name for each zone. I can still remember some of those names. Nana, yeah, the area with lots of men. Paglas Khush, under the dried cherry tree. I considered ants, woodlice, earthworms, all other insects citizens of that garden, and I was seeing myself as a steward of them. It reminds me of Robin Wall Kimmerer when she calls the maple trees citizens of the city. After playing in the garden, talking to each plant and insect, I used to lie down and look at the birds on the tall walnut tree we had. Living around my house, my garden, and moving to Toronto was a complicated journey. Here I live in an apartment, but I found my way to continue gardening. The first year I started with just a couple of my favorite plants, mint, basil, parsley. Last spring, because of COVID, I worked and studied from home, so I decided to make a bigger garden on the balcony. If I can't go to nature, I'm gonna bring nature here to my home. I usually wake up before sunrise. My day starts with watering all these plants, sitting on the balcony and listening to the bird songs. I wish I were living in a jungle or somewhere close to a river or lake, but sometimes our lives are different from what we wish. If it's hard for us to go outside and be in nature, we can bring nature to our home. Our home is already part of nature. The story of lives are already nature journals.